Hey guys, what's good? Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry for the delay in content. I just wanted to make a video about this really nice Rolex I traded for recently. It's a Datejust, and I've had a couple of these. I actually made a video about a Datejust turnograph I had bought, but that was the 36 millimeter version of the watch. And if you've seen a lot of my videos, you guys know I prefer watches that are a little bit larger. I have, I've had the big Pilot before and lots of Panerai. And so, I've never been a huge Datejust fan, but I've never had the larger version. And so, yeah, I had a chance to get a Datejust II. This is the reference 116334, I think is the reference number. But it's the same diameter as the Datejust 41, so it kind of works for both. And it is really nice, and I like it a lot more than the 36 millimeter version. Let's take a look at the watch. Let's see what it's all about, and then we'll try it on the wrist. So this is the Datejust II. So this was a brief series of Datejusts before the just before the current version, which is technically called the Datejust 41. The Datejust 2 and the Datejust 41 are both 41 millimeters in diameter, but there's a couple of little differences, and the main difference is the width of the bezel. So this is a Rolesor, R-O-L-E-S-O-R, which is Rolex's terminology for a watch that is part steel, part gold. And so this bezel, look how beautiful that faceted 18 karat white gold bezel just glimmers. I mean, this watch just shines on the wrist, believe me. And so this is white gold, and the rest of the watch is stainless steel, and it's really beautiful. I mean, just really well made. In fact, it's the same bracelet technology in terms of fitment as the current version of the Rolex Submariner. What do I mean by that? This diameter between the lugs is actually 21 millimeters. And so it gives the watch a really nice, really modern stance on the wrist. The watch was made just briefly, and so obviously Rolex wanted to go in a slightly different direction, and the direction they went in is also great. Again, still a larger watch, but the bezel is a little less prominent. The markers on the dial are a little less prominent. The biggest difference, though, I think, beyond just those minor aesthetic changes with the new watch, is the new movement. And the biggest advantage of the new movement of the current version of the watch is a longer power reserve. So 21 millimeters between the lugs. But the bracelet is that classic oyster style bracelet, and it has a lovely action on the clasp. I've said it once, I'll say it again, nobody makes bracelets as well as Rolex does. I have owned a lot of Rolex watches, and I own a lot of other watches from lots of different brands. You guys can check out my videos, but say what you will about Rolex, nobody touches their bracelets regardless of price point. And so it also has a little adjustment right there to add a little bit more length in the summer. That's already come in handy as the humidity has ramped up. But yeah, just a beautiful watch, really well done. I like it a lot, and I mean a lot more than the 36 millimeter version of the Datejust. Listen, that's a great watch. I mean, don't get me wrong, beautiful watches. I've had some 36 millimeter Datejust. I've got a 36 millimeter Explorer. Those are great. I mean, those are great watches. I would call them classically sized, but I really prefer the larger one. It's a larger dial. And just a little bit more presence on the wrist. Okay, enough babbling. Let me get this thing on the wrist, and then we'll keep talking about it. Okay, I'm back, and let's see what this thing looks like on the wrist. Today I have my Black Bay 58 on, and just real quick, why don't we compare those two size-wise? I'll slip that on kind of like that, and you can see that the Datejust 2 or the Datejust 41, whichever, same size, you can see it's a much larger watch than this 39 millimeter Black Bay 58. Of course it is, but it carries a lot more visual presence. It's much more of a like a hunk of metal effect, and I think it looks really good. It sparkles, it flashes, and but not in a bad way. You know, it's still just a steel colored watch. It's just that this beautiful thick faceted bezel, it really sparkles and catches the light in a really nice way. Let's try it on the wrist. So take this thing off. I'm really liking the Black Bay 58, by the way. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I would. Just a cool, easy watch to wear. Let me put it to the side and let's try this thing on. I love the Explorer bracelet. Just so comfortable, so easy to wear. And there you see it on my wrist. That's 6 1/4 inches or 16 centimeters in circumference, kind of flat in shape. But yeah, I just really like it. You know, it works really well on a small wrist. Of course, it's going to work really well on a large wrist. Lots of different dial options, you know, on this, on the Datejust II, you know, you can have loomed markers like these are. You can have Roman numerals without loom. It comes in two-tone. And so just a lot of different options. It comes with the, you know, it comes with this kind of bezel or a plain stainless steel bezel, both awesome. But, you know, I am telling y'all that if you're trying to choose between the plain bezel or the faceted bezel, I really would recommend this one. I can't tell you how impressive it is to see it on somebody or see it in hand. And then when the light hits it just perfectly, I mean, it just lights up a room. It's a really interesting and it's a really unique effect. And it's a way that you can get a lot of Rolex look, a lot of Rolex energy at kind of like an entry-level price. You know, I mean, these Datejusts are not as cheap as they used to be, but they still represent, I think, a nice entry point into the world of Rolex. You're not going to be paying $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 like you will for like a Submariner. You know, you're not going to be paying like, you know, Sky Dweller money or Yachtmaster money. You know, Yachtmasters in 40 millimeters are going for, I don't know, like $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 depending upon the dial. You know, a Datejust II or a Datejust 41 is a watch you can have and enjoy. Sometimes at retail, you know, sometimes you find them at authorized dealers. You know, on the secondary market, you know, with this bezel, a Datejust II is going to be around 11, 12, 13. A Datejust 41 is going to be, you know, 14, 15, maybe 13. So I think it offers tremendous value. Specifically, I think the Datejust II, this particular version, has some unique features. I know that the movement is not as good as the Datejust 41. Would I like that longer power reserve? Heck yeah, I would love it. But saving $2,000 or $3,000 on this watch, getting the bezel I wanted, getting the black dial I wanted, I mean, I felt like that was a fair compromise. And I saved a lot of money. And not only that, but the Datejust II, I feel like, has a little bit more visual presence than a Datejust 41. Unfortunately, I do not have a Datejust 41. I just have the Datejust II. But if you can see videos or pictures of them side by side, you can see like some subtle differences, most notably the wider bracelet at the connection and the much wider the bezel. The effect of the bezel is really cool. And I like the watch. I like it a heck of a lot more than I thought I would. You know, it's something that is just such an easy daily wear. It's honestly a really good travel watch because while it is a Rolex, it's not like a super flashy Rolex. You know, I have a yellow gold Day-Date 40. I mean, of course, that is like next level. But, you know, is that a watch I really feel comfortable traveling in? You know, do I really want to shine that bright like on the airplane or in the Uber or at the restaurant? Yeah, you know, maybe, but probably not. This, I get to enjoy wearing a Rolex. I get the same exact build quality, Very similar style, but it's, you know, it's a little bit understated. It's flashy when it needs to be, but it's kind of relaxed, it's kind of chilled out whenever I want to be kind of like under the radar, so to speak. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you like this quick look at a watch that I really like a lot, and I would strongly recommend to anybody looking to get into Rolex. A Datejust, but not, I'm not a fan of the 36 millimeter Datejusts. That's me, you know, 100% respect to anybody that's into those watches. You know, it's classic, it's stylish, it's never going to go out of fashion. And like I said, I have a 36 millimeter Explorer, and that's not a watch I can ever trade or ever move because I own it for sentimental reasons. Having said that, though, you know, if I'm going to be getting into a Datejust, if I'm going to be spending $8, $9, $10, $11, $12,000 to get a really nice watch, I'll be real, I'm going to be looking for a 41 millimeter version, whether it's this Datejust 2 with the wider bezel, the wider bracelet, or if it's the Datejust 41, kind of a little bit more proportioned, similar to the classic Datejust, but still, again, has that large face, has that big presence. Okay, I'm rambling as always, guys. Listen, I hope you like these videos. I hope you like this look at a watch that I've had for a little while now. I've really enjoyed, I've traveled with, and one that I would highly recommend. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try to make a comparison video one of these days of this Datejust versus my Day-Date 40. And another video I've been thinking about making is my Black Bay 58 sub versus my Rolex sub. That may be interesting to y'all. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to making some more content for y'all soon. Okay, guys, God bless. Love y'all. Bye.